Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why customers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hello and welcome to another episode of That's Absurd. Please elaborate, the show where we answer questions that you send us with whatever information we can find on the internet and elsewhere. We usually, sometimes we even call people who know a lot of stuff.
Not like whatever, and we vet it, you know?
Yeah. Totally.
It's not just like, oh, I don't know, some guy on Quora said this. Sometimes
I just go to the grocery store and I'm like, hey, what do you think?
I just shout at people on the street.
If this is your first time listening, as always, I apologize.
Sorry,
but my name is Trace Dominguez. I'm a science communicator, and this is Julian Huguet. He is also a science communicator, so this is ostensibly a science podcast, but maybe you'll laugh too. Who knows? Let's find out. Julian, what question do you have?
So my question comes from Valerie, who asks, what if there were seas, but no ships?
Oh, I thought you meant like the letter C.
No, not the...
Because I'm like, well, there's not even a letter C in the word ship. So that's fine.
Alphabetical letter C. Like the naval seafaring, the water, the big bunch of water.
The big water, the big blue wet thing.
No boats on it. Valerie elaborates. She says, my friends are starting a Dungeons and Dragons campaign soon with a homebrew setting.
Love that.
Right? The DM has decided that due to the sheer amount and dangerousness of sea monsters in the setting, there is no shipping or even fishing on the seas. What would commerce and society actually look like were that the case?
Interesting. So the seas are just too dangerous.
Just too scared. There be monsters. Many monsters.
Too many monsters in order to actually do anything about the monsters.
An irresponsible number of monsters, frankly.
Those monsters, again, geez, just causing all those issues.
Sick of them.
If only somebody could come and solve these monster problems.
Is this an allusion to something?
No. Yes. Superheroes, militarized police forces, just the normal stuff that we find in 2026.
Something to go out there and just kill the monsters with no regard for their ecological significance. Okay.
Oh, my. Oh, wow. Okay, that's where you're right. I get it. Okay, this is a science podcast.
Maybe there's a reason there be monsters. You ever ask how the monsters are doing? No, you only think about yourself.
With an attitude like that, we're never going to get better than the Sasquatch podcasts that are just like, get him! With the pitchforks from full, Beauty and the Beast mob stuff. Anyway, please continue.
Hunt the Sasquatch. Okay. Valerie alludes to society and commerce, and those are great places to start. But of course, this is a huge, multifaceted thing to tackle. Boats are really important.
I'm
kind of underselling it, but historically and in modern times, I don't think you appreciate just how important boats are. And to illustrate this, I have found a list of 39 sailing terms we use every day. At least that's the title of it. I don't think I use all of these every day.
Can you present these 39 terms as a sea shanty?
Okay, before I attempt that, here's what I was going to say. And that is, some of these are very, very common. And the fact that they are nautically derived is sort of not obvious. And so we might use them and be like, oh, I didn't realize that was boat related. Some of them are obviously boat related. My challenge to us for the remainder of this episode is to not use any ship-related expressions or terms or anything like that, because in this universe that we now inhabit, there are no boats.
And there have never been boats.
Never been. There was one guy who tried, immediately killed by a kraken or some other.
I assume somebody tries every now and then, but
You know there's one intrepid soul that's like, who says that we can't go on the... I'm going to lash these logs together and I'm going to go out there and then...
The difference is that person is killed by a sea monster, whereas in real life, that person gains a huge following as an influencer.
that person has a podcast
there's
much bigger than ours.
A giant podcast.
There's frankly an epidemic of people being killed by the sea thanks to this person.
Anyway.
And they will not take responsibility for it. Anyway. So I can't do this in sea shanty form, but let's just go through some of them that are obvious. A loose cannon, right?
Sure.
On a boat.
Because it would roll around and you had to tie it down to make sure it didn't roll around.
Don't want that. Batten down the hatches, pretty obvious. That's boat related. Above board, all hands on deck. Yeah. Here's a sailing term we use every day, according to ussailing.org, which is between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Yeah, I'm using that all the time. I said it in an email 10 minutes ago. Yep, totally.
I feel like this list could have been 38 at most. I don't say that. But here's one you might not expect. By and large.
That's not from Wall-E?
No, apparently by refers to sailing into the wind, and large means sailing with the wind. A ship that could do both was versatile. So that's where we get the expression by and large.
Huh.
We get cast off, close quarters, cut and run, dead in the water, even keel, fathom, because it comes from like how deep something is. So if you think about something deeply, you're fathoming it.
I never do that.
Flying colors, right? Like passing with flying colors, because you would run up flags on the mast to communicate. Give a wide berth, go overboard, hand over fist. That's when you're rapidly pulling something, right? Like a rope.
Yeah.
That's hand over fist. High and dry, in the doldrums, keel over, know the ropes, long shot, loose ends, make waves, on board, over the barrel, pipe down, plain sailing. Okay, maybe again we could have gone with 37 because I don't use plain sailing every day.
Plain sailing, you're not used. How would one use plain sailing in a sentence?
Something easier, straightforward. So it's pretty plain sailing.
That's plain sailing.
You know what? Expression plain sailing is not plain
Definitely
sailing.
37.
Set sail, ship shape, show your true colors, taken aback, 3 sheets to the wind.
Taken aback?
Yeah, that's when the wind blows into your sail.
Oh.
So you're taken aback by it.
Yep.
Tow the line, touch and go. That's when you're in shallow waters and the bottom of the boat keeps rubbing against it.
I always thought that was the one where the airplane landed and then took off again.
I would have assumed it was airplane related as well, but given that boats came way earlier, it makes more sense to me that it's boat related.
Yeah, it does, yes.
Running a tight ship in the same boat, stem the tide under the weather, and show someone the ropes. Okay?
Got it.
I've sent you this list, by the way, so you can keep track of them.
You did. Okay, so I know what not to say.
The challenge is not to use anything boat related.
And
for
if
the remainder
fail,
of the episode,
then I can't walk the plank because that is a boat related thing and wouldn't have existed.
Are we gonna have Kyle insert like a horn, like a big foghorn? Like, no,
fuck.
Sorry, you said a boat word.
You said a boat word.
You said a boat word.
You lose a point. No points for you. I'm putting this list on my desktop here so that I don't accidentally say a boat word and I can, keep track.
We don't get bleeped. We don't get foghorned.
I don't want to get foghorned.
So, today,
yes,
in today's world, what if there were seas but no ships, right? We just wave a magic wand, TM, all those go away. First thing I think of is the cost of goods goes up a lot.
Yeah.
Because of the price of shipping. Or not shipping, can't say the word shipping. Price of...
Foghorn, Kyle! Foghorn!
Foghorn this man.
Foghorn that man!
Because of landing? I don't know, overlanding? Transporting it? Even the word freight comes from naval terminologies. Can't say freight. But anyway, sending goods around.
Moving stuff.
It gets a lot more expensive because sending things by boat is comparatively very cheap. You can send a lot of it very far using very little fuel. The standard unit measurement, right, is mile tons.
Mile tons.
Yeah, so the cost to transport a ton of cargo 1 mile, right?
Right.
According to the Arkansas Waterway Commission, by barge, that costs 97 cents to send a ton of cargo 1 mile. By rail, it's $2.53, and by truck, it's $5.35. So sending it on water is 3 to 5 times less expensive than sending it over land.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that, but when you put it in numbers.
Right. And now expand that to how much cargo, how many tons and tons of cargo get shipped thousands and thousands of miles, and you can see just how astronomical the cost to ship everything suddenly goes, right? Assuming you can get things over land, right? You don't have to use a sea route like you're going in between continents. So, our world economy today is pretty dependent on big old boats. The average person doesn't think about it typically until there's some, I don't know, like catastrophe or global event that affects that. One recent one that comes to mind, not so recent, but a little while ago, was the Ever Given catastrophe. Do you remember that?
The Ever Given catastrophe.
Yes.
Good band name. I don't recall it.
It was a boat. Well, you might remember Evergreen was on the side of the boat.
Oh, yeah. The one in the canal.
Evergreen was the Taiwanese shipping company, but the boat itself was the Ever Given. And in March of 2021, it wedged itself in the Suez Canal,
right,
cutting off the flow of ships between the Mediterranean and Red Sea, which was an important waterway for shipping things to and from Europe and Asia, right?
You mean moving
those two
goods?
Destinations. Shoot! Foghorn!
Foghorn this man!
Yeah. So it cut off a major route. Apparently, 12% of global trade goes through the Suez Canal, and 30% of international containers. You know, the big 20-foot long truck containers.
The big one. The big boxes.
30% of those go through the Suez Canal. And this was, of course, coming on the heels of COVID and all of these supply chain issues that caused, where like transporting containers were all in the wrong place.
That was close.
So because of these compounding problems, one estimate put the cost of this, it was only a 6.5 day stuckage, by the way. Stuckage. But apparently the estimated cost to the global economy was between 2 and 2.5 billion euros.
That's a lot of euros.
That's don't know what that is in real money, but anyway, suffice it to say, this 6.5 day stuckage cost a lot of money. It also apparently slowed like global economic growth by 0.2 to 0.4%. So just one boat clogging up one canal did that. Ships had to be diverted around the Cape of Good Hope, so they took an 8-day longer journey to go around Africa. And another option that was available, but not necessarily feasible, was sending goods by train through the Eurasian land bridge between China and Europe. Now, this brings up another problem, though, with overland cargo transport, because somebody owns that land.
Yeah, you can't just walk through it necessarily all the time in all the different countries.
To use this Eurasian land bridge trail line, obviously, the capacity is a lot less than huge boats that you have a lot of, but also it traverses countries, including Russia. And Russia is currently at war, and China doesn't necessarily like that that's really the only rail option between them and Europe. And if, you know, the country that the goods are going through is at war, there's a chance that they might be exploded by drones or missiles. Right?
Yes.
Not great for your goods. But also, even if the country's not at war, maybe you have to deal with, you know, a foreign government that becomes hostile to you for whatever reason, or just decides to charge you tolls or fees for going through their part of the rail line, right?
Yeah.
So China is looking to currently expand and build an alternate rail route to Europe that would pass through, let me check my notes here, Iran and Afghanistan.
Oh, cool. There's famously cool chill places.
Nothing of no wars or destabilization in
historically
those
speaking,
regions.
chill as a cucumber.
Oh, also the rail line would go through Tajikistan. So shout out.
Hey,
if you're one of our 3 listeners in Tajikistan, if you are working on the railroad, let us know.
Love that.
Wouldn't that be incredible?
Love that for you.
So this is an issue that transporting goods by boat does not encounter. We have an international agreement from 1982, the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, that establishes freedom of navigation, right? So long as you're a certain distance from a sovereign country's coastline, your boats are not supposed to be muddled with by other nations, right? They can't just board you for no good reason or charge you a toll or anything like that, right? You have the freedom to ship, and it helps keep costs down and use of the seas more equitable. And if all of a sudden that's gone, well, now the geopolitical picture changes a lot.
Because there's just no boats.
There's no boats.
Because there's no boats.
Right?
No boats about it. You know what they say?
Shipping goods, shipping people.
That's what they say, right?
That's the expression. That's actually, okay, add it back to the list. 38. No boats
about it.
So those are some way that, our culture and global commerce would be affected. But what if boats had never been invented? What would human history look like?
Like the history part.
Yeah, like how we got here today. Not by boat, obviously.
Walk down the stairs into the basement of my house.
That's it. Don't touch water or you'll die.
And I'll die.
Yeah, the sea monsters will get you. We are going to talk about what that might look like when we come back.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Welcome back to That's Absurd. Please elaborate. Maybe there was an ad there. If so, great. Maybe we got a little money for that. That'd be nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Speaking of getting money, why is it that we came across the oceans in the first place?
Great question. Trace, what year did Columbus discover America?
The year that he sailed the ocean blue, which rhymes with any year that ends in the word two.
It's true, but it's also a trick question, Trace.
Yeah, because
I asked, when did he discover it? And he didn't discover it.
Not really.
People were already here.
Yeah.
You can't discover a place that people already live in,
True.
And how did those people get here, though?
I had grown up learning that they walked across a land bridge, but I do know that there were various cultures that were here even earlier that had boated their way across.
So the predominant theory, right, is a lot of people came and settled in the Americas, what would become the Americas, around 20,000 years ago. Why was there a land bridge, though? Why isn't there one now? What happened?
Well, many thousands, 20,000 years ago earlier, the continents had, they still had some little chainy bits connecting them. And then over time, they either moved apart or the sea levels rose or whatever, depending on, there was an ice age. So they would have been, ice takes up more space, but not when it sticks together into chunks.
You're more on track with this last idea. Not so much 20,000 years ago, geological time speaking isn't really enough time for things to like drift apart as much. But 20 to 26,000 years ago was the last glacial maximum here on Earth.
See, I was just making that up. I had no idea what I was talking about.
No, it's you were on the right track. So much water was bound up in glaciers and ice sheets that the sea level was as far as 130 meters below where it is today.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, all the water was in big mountains of ice.
In fact, I searched around for some maps. I found little bits and pieces of maps, but some incredible soul on ye old Reddit put together what I think is my favorite map, and I double checked it. This is accurate with the other sources that I could find. But this user in the r/paleontology forum created their own map. I have linked it to you now, and you can see
I'm excited.
where there were large ice sheets and where the land used to extend to.
Wow. Cool. Literally.
Yeah. And so the timing of this ice age is kind of perfect because human beings, we've been around for over 100,000 years. Depends on, how you want to quantify it. But 100,000,
when you
200,000.
start calling us people.
Yeah. We left Africa, where we first evolved, multiple times. But first big migration out of Africa was about 60,000 years ago. And we spread around across Asia and Europe. And then about 20,000 years ago, during this glacial maximum, when there was something called Beringia, which is a land bridge between Asia and Alaska, Siberia and Alaska.
Yeah.
People were there. The timing was right for people to just walk across. And so you can see on this map now, anywhere that's like this light gray is somewhere where land was exposed that isn't there today. And so if there's anything connecting like a major piece of land to like an island or something, then theoretically you could get people just walking to those places and setting up some sort of civilization.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah, looking at this map, and just to describe it to everyone, the world looks very similar to what it is today. They're using a Mercator projection, which is not great, but that's okay. That's okay. So it's the map has essentially three colors: white, light blue, and gray. And the light blue covers most of Canada and Greenland and the northern parts of Europe and all the way into Siberia. And then the gray is where the oceans would be receded from where they are today. And the white is similar to what the map would look like now. And so we've got gray, a huge, like Alaska-sized connection between northeast Russia and northwest North America, as we call them now. But there's also bridges all through Indonesia and southern Asia and between Australia they're all around South America and the Caribbean. There's all these places that you could have walked between that you can't do anymore. Like the Persian Gulf didn't even exist at this time.
No, look at that. The Strait of Hormuz is closed again.
What will we do with the movement of goods?
20,000 years ago, the Strait of Hormuz was closed. So it's just, we've reverted back to the glacial maximum.
Yeah, we've really gone backwards
at least in
here.
that part.
Yeah.
It didn't even exist. Sure. It was just land. You could just walk across it.
Yep.
Other places too, like England or the British Isles in Europe, you can see were connected to the rest of mainland Europe. You could theoretically have walked across there.
Really makes it hard to Brexit when you just walk there.
Yeah. Now you're stuck. Right now you are undeniably a part of Europe. Humans settled in the British Isles as far back as 40,000 years ago. We have evidence of that. So this would have maybe delayed when they could have crossed the channel. I'm assuming we're operating on video game logic where they didn't program swimming into the game. So like as soon as you touch the water, you basically die.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Like in a boat, it's just immediate.
Like you can fish from the shore.
Yeah.
And you just have to wait the requisite 1 to 5 times that the fish will bite and then pull it up. And it's really great.
Actually. And then you got to do the mini game. Yeah. And then you have fish.
Yeah. And then you have a fish.
But if the fish, is out there and you're like getting impatient, I'm going to wade out there and grab it or something.
Then your body becomes totally ballistic and you just fall into the water.
You get pink misted by Cthulhu instantly.
Perfect. Yes, that's clearly what's happened.
So the settlement of the British Isles would have been delayed about 20,000 years, but there still would be people there. However, there are places that you can see that there's no hope that anything would ever actually
there are still
there.
Islands here, lots and lots, probably millions or hundreds of thousands, whatever there are of islands today. It's probably still, most of those are still islands.
Yeah. So things like volcanic islands that formed not because they were part of some continental breakup or anything, right? But just a volcano poking through like Hawaii, that's totally isolated. That human beings are not going to be able to get to in our boatless world. If you look closely, you mentioned Indonesia, and you can get about as far south as Java, but to connect to Sahul, which is the continent that's made up of Australia, Tasmania, New Guinea, you'd have to go by boat. maybe you get lucky. Maybe you could, I don't know, like maybe the rules aren't so black and white. Maybe every now and then a boat makes it through or something. But if it is, you can't go in the water at all, then Australia remains entirely unsettled by humankind. New Zealand, forget about it. Nobody's on New Zealand. That's off on its own. Same for Madagascar. Nobody's reaching that. But yeah, a surprising amount of the world. Japan is connected.
That's cool.
To Asia. At least a couple of the islands are, it looks like. So yes, you could still get to Japan and North America and South America. That's all settled. So, Trace.
Yes.
Do you think that means we would never like contact other continents again?
Once the land bridge had receded.
Yeah.
We would be isolated within our places. I feel like this does not preclude the invention of bridges. And we could bearing straight that up. We could build a bridge, I have heard, from Alaska to Russia. And if it were the only way to do it, I bet we would figure that out.
I mean, bridge building, I hate to go all, practical engineering, but I've been watching some of Grady's videos lately.
Love that guy.
And bridge building totally requires the use of boats. I can't say the word boats.
No, I was just upset.
Oh, sad foghorn noises.
Sad foghorn.
Right? Like you still need to like get the material out to the middle of the water and like drive it down with piles or something.
You can't just cantilever and then, go to the other end and drop something and then cantilever again.
Across between Alaska and Siberia. Yeah, no, I don't
dig
think
a lot of dirt
happen.
and just make a big hill and just keep making a hill all the way across. That's what you got to be, we could do that.
Look, obviously, flying machines are still possible in this world, right?
Oh, we just have to invent all of the airplanes first.
Oh, well, that's the thing, though. If you have like a large plane that can travel between, say, Europe and North America, how's it going to land when it gets there?
Not on a water. Because
not a seaplane, that's for sure, or a flying boat, which is technically distinct. No, can't do that, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like there's going to be a guaranteed nice place to land wherever you get there. Probably going to be fairly low on fuel, right? So maybe a plane isn't the best option.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Do you know where I'm going with this?
I see where you're going with this.
Where am I going with this?
You're going with the lighter than air rigid airship, my friend.
I am
We're
going...
obviously in a different dimension and other alternative.
Trace, you said airship, foghorn. It'd probably be like an air cart or an air wagon.
Car.
An
air truck. An air truck.
Is vessel ambiguous
vessel
enough?
Seems shippy. That seems shippy. Sorry, Julian. That seems too shippy.
But yes, what if we could take air carts across the seas?
Air trucks. Because truck used to be like a thing you would pull, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Right?
Air plows, whatever you'd call them.
Air plows?
I see no reason why you couldn't have an air wagon that could go across an entire ocean,
right?
It's floating, not a lot of fuel, Some intrepid explorer, I'm sure, would be like, I'm going to find a faster way to India or something, silly.
Right.
And then they start traveling around, they start floating over, and they could probably set it down. You could make an airship that, you don't need a lot of support wherever you're going, set it down in a field.
Is floating boat related? Would we have the word floating?
No.
Would we have it?
Buoyance, it's just related to fluids that can
But
be
would
air.
we have had the word float if we didn't have liquids that we would typically
Things would float.
Suspend in?
When you lived in this world, and you threw... No, you'd throw something on the sea to like, I wonder if the sea monster's going to eat it, and you could see if it would float or not.
Right.
The concept of floating would exist.
I don't know.
Floating, yes. Boating, no. Anyway, yeah, you could float on over there and quote unquote discover a whole new world.
A new fantastic point of view.
I guess it's the wrong Disney
No one
movie.
to tell us no.
Stop it.
Or where to go.
Where to float.
Or say we're only dreaming.
Okay. All right. So you could, in theory, I think, still and we're playing with counterfactuals, right? We've gone off the rails because who knows how history is going to
We have
unwind,
no idea.
Right? But I think it's safe to assume that air travel still would be invented, in the fairly recent past for us.
I would say we would be more apt to focus on air travel. Like, I would assume if we had no way to transport ourselves over waterways, which throughout history were the highways of human expansion, we would probably have expanded much slower.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just anywhere we went, we would have gone slower because we were moving things over water for most of our history until fairly recently. But I bet once we started to get large populations, we'd be like, we got to find a way. We either kill all the sea monsters, so we invent some kind of terrible poison that destroys the entire ocean ecosystem for our own benefit, or we find a way to rise above literally the water.
Yeah. Well, probably both. We'd probably pursue both.
We're pretty good at inventing things when we need to. Necessity being that mother of invention, as they say.
This is kind of a mind-blowing thought to me, though. Assuming that aviation does kind of follow a similar historical development path, and that it's only about 100 years ago that we started having large, lighter than air vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I avoided the S word. That would mean that we would only make intercontinental contact, between the Americas and the rest of the world within the last 100 years, which is kind of an insane thought.
That is pretty insane.
Yeah. Which also means, who knows what that does for the spread of diseases to the new world, quote unquote, new world.
Even worse.
They wouldn't be called the Americas because Amerigo Vespucci would be long dead. They'd be called something else. Maybe the Zeppelin lands? I don't know.
The Led Zeppelin lands? That doesn't make sense. The Jimmy Page lands.
For the Zeppelin balloon maker, not the band.
Oh.
Silly goose.
Why not? Maybe.
I've landed here and I'm naming it after my favorite band. I mean, if Amerigo Vespucci, right, the map maker, can be like, this is America, I don't see why not. Sure, it can be.
Yeah.
Also,
Pajerica.
We were this close to being the United States of Vespucci. Do you ever think about that? Because I do. Right?
We'd be Vespuccians? That sounds... Well, it's a good band name.
I kind of like it. Yeah, Vespuccians.
Vespuccians?
I would
say
States of
Vespuccians.
Vespucci.
Oh, yeah. I feel like it needs another noun, like dead Vespuccians or something. But, it's there. It'd be there.
Ooh. Dead Vespuccians. Anyway, Valerie, those are some of my ideas on how the world would be different. Of course, it's impossible to say, but it's fun to explore. Since this was a question that was sent in 2024, your D&D campaign has probably met at least twice by now.
Scathing.
No, that's just the realities of being an adult.
Accurate. Scathing.
So hard to get a group together. Anyway, so I'm sure some of these consequences of a world without boats have naturally kind of come about in the campaign. And if there's any surprising ones or weird ones, let us know, because that's an
actually curious
idea to me.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Please send us an email.
Before I wrap up, Trace, did you have any ideas on anything I might have missed?
I don't think I have any ideas on stuff you missed. I think we talked about it a little bit, which is just I think there definitely would be a lot more pockets of humanity. I wonder if it would have gone even longer than we assume. Right? What if right now we're pretty isolated throughout history? Humankind in general is pretty isolated. And that is how we end up with the physical characteristic differences that we have within our limited gene system. So people who have different colors of skin, hair, different textures of skin, different shapes of eyes, noses, mouths, et cetera, heights and all sorts of. I wonder if there would be even more variation because there would be even more pockets, which could be cool. But also, I wonder if then when those pockets, as you said, meet up, what happens? Do they even meld the way that we did? Because as we know from looking back at history, when groups mix together, not only do they become different and better often, but like at first things tend to go a little wonky from time to time, depending on the groups. So it's interesting to think of like what history in general would look like. And also whether things like, obviously there's no guarantee that if you were to run the entirety of history with the rules we have now again in a computer simulation, there's no guarantee that Europe becomes this world power, right? It was just a lot of lucky things happened in order for the world powers that we know of today to have happened. So I wonder like how, if the world would even look at all, like if we can even imagine what the world would be like, because I honestly don't think we can. I think it would be so different that it would be unrecognizable, both physically, culturally, ecumenically,
spiritually.
Everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see how the world would be. Would it still be in ship shape?
You get 2 for that one.
2 for these because it was such an obvious setup.
Okay,
yeah, this was pretty egregious. Anyway, Valerie, I hope that answers your question. Or, maybe like I said, you've come up with some interesting angles or answers on your own, because who's to say? But gaming it out, probably a great way to figure out some of the ways things would change, like in a game of D&D. That's going to do it for this episode of That's Absurd, Please Elaborate. The show was written, created, hosted, and produced by me, Julian Huguet.
And me, Trace Dominguez. And it was also associate produced by Sabrina Capello, but produced and edited by the absolute even keel, plain sailing.
The guy who keeps us from being between the devil and deep water. What was that one?
Yeah, between the devil and deep water.
As we always say.
As everyone says. Kyle Sisk.
That guy.
Our music was thanks to Epidemic Sound. Thank you to Valerie for submitting your question for this episode. If you want to submit a question too, go down into the forum and fill it out. You can email us at hello@that'sabsurdshow.com. You can visit our website, that'sabsurdshow.com/ask, or call us on the phone and leave us a voicemail at 302-TAPE-SHOW. You can also do that if you want to give us feedback, tell us about the show, or have any other things that you just want to pass on to us, like other, sailing things. Maybe we missed some and we need to add some horns to the episode. Let us know ASAP, because this episode's already aired, so we can't put the horns in already. Just tell us so we feel bad. And thank you so much.
Horning.
Yeah, post-hoc horns. And thank you also to our absurd administrators, without whom we would not make any kind of monetary backing for the show at all. Adam, Les, Austin, Jonathan, Dan, Sabrina, Balky, Hannah, Apothecarian, Christina, Atomic Straw, Brian, Shane, Metric Ton of Batcat, Poochu, and Connor.
Our Patreons as a whole, too. I mean, they all contribute, of course, not just the absurd administrators. We got a new one. Nora joined us back in July. Thank you. Welcome to the Patreon. Nora, thank you to all our patrons, as always, for, contributing your hard-earned...
booty.
Thanks for bringing that booty over here. No. Terrible. Stop.
Well, would there be pirates without... ships?
Oh!
I mean, there would be, maybe they wouldn't be the type of pirate. Anyway.
Land pirates.
Would there be eye patches?
Good question.
Because the eye patch, is the whole
keeping the above and below.
For when
deck,
you go below
right?
deck, you have the eye patch. You cover your eye. You get good night vision in the left eye, and then you go under the deck and you swap it and you get the night vision, but you don't. And then you go back above. And
I think eye patch fashion would certainly have died out.
Be different.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, thanks to all of our patrons over on Patreon. Was what I was getting at.
I get you. We're dead in the water here. For sure. Leave us a review wherever you're listening now. Those reviews tell other people this show is worth their time. And if you want to see clips from the show and share them with your friends, you can go to That's Absurd Show on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube and find little clips from the show that Sabrina makes. She does a great job making us look like idiots. Because we are.
Yeah, we need her help to do that. Special thanks to those listening over on Nebula as well. Nebula is a platform that's owned and operated by the creators on it. You get ad-free versions of episodes. You support us and other great independent creators. I was just watching, I always bring them up, but Real Engineering Brian, who we got to see at Open Sauce, made a video on Sagrada Familia, and he has some exclusive interviews with people making the stained glass of the basilica over on Patreon. And as somebody who is like from, my family's from that part of Spain, and a fan of Real Engineering's content, that was awesome. I loved watching that, and you can see it on Nebula. So go to go.nebula.tv/that'sabsurdshow to sign up.
As we say, though, at the end of every episode, our sign-off, if you will. Julian, what do we say?
This episode certainly was plain sailing. Pipe down over there. Yeah, I'll have you over a barrel. This show is going shipshape.
You're just, you know what one isn't on here that I wrote down as soon as you did it?
What?
Because it's true. I like the cut of your jib.
Oh, that's a good one. Can't believe it was right there, ussailing.org. Why didn't you go with that? You could have easily had 40 instead of 39.
They didn't even do I like the cut of your
Come
jib.
on.
It's like they've never talked to Cap'n in Animal Crossing. Thanks for listening to this episode. We'll see you next week with another That's Absurd Plays on Right?